Those damn injuries, folks. Knocked out another. Yo! What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Too Much Fantasy Football. It's Brian. It's Brennan. We're here to go over the Week 7 recap, talk about all the fun, the shenanigans, and damn it, we got to do a little venting here because there's some shit that went down and we got to talk about it. Let's get that timer rolling. All right, first one we got to talk about. It is the Jets at the Steelers, the Sunday night game. The Steelers now 5-2, Jets now 2-5, 15-37. Look, I thought Devontae Adams, if anything, like win or loss, I saw we could have gone either direction in this game. I thought Devontae Adams anytime touchdown was a given. If you knew anything was going to happen in this game, I thought it was going to be that. Nope. Aaron Rodgers, 24 for 39, 276, and a touchdown. Breece Hall, the lone bright side for the Jets, 12 for 38, a touchdown, and then 6 for 9 at the receiving game for 103 yards. Garrett Wilson, 5 for 9, 61 yards. Allen Lazard was 4 for 58. And then, of course, Devontae Adams had 9 targets, just 3 catches for 30 yards. Tyler Conklin pulled the lone touchdown. 4 catches for 7 yards. What the hell? Of course he's going to ruin it. We knew he was done. But, of course, hey, we're watching this before the 2 Monday night games, so things could change. But as of now, yes, as it sits right now, Russell Wilson is the number 1 quarterback. We still have 2 games to go, so maybe, worst you can fall at this point is 5. But 16 for 29, 264, 2 touchdowns, 3 rushes, got himself a touchdown on the ground as well. 27 points, depending on your scoring settings. George Pickens came to life, 5 for 9, 111 and a touchdown. This is what we wanted. This is where the arguments all summer that George Pickens could be great, easy top 20 option. This is what we wanted, him to be the lone target. You saw Van Jefferson with 3 targets. Calvin Austin brought in 1 for 4, and then Freiermuth had 3. It's going to run through Pickens. It really should, but Russell Wilson loves hyper-targeting guys. So, buy a low window. I knew he had a great game, but he's been crap on the season. So, I think this might be a window to go get him if you think that Wilson's going to hold on. All right, everybody. Here's the bad part. Let's get this knocked out real quick. It's the injuries. I know. It's rough. Deshaun Watson, however you feel about the guy, torn Achilles, out for the season. Could be back by week 1 next year. Who knows if he's on the Browns? The money says he should be. The coach speak says he should be. But as of right now, it's Jameis Winston season, baby. And we saw that in full effect over a handful of plays there at the very end. David Njoku, it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow on the waiver wire. We'll talk about it on the live stream, whether or not Elijah Moore, Tillman, Jerry Jeudy, which one of these players are going to be worth grabbing. DK Metcalf, it looked bad. Got carted off, knee injury. Looks like he has avoided a serious injury. Looking at just a couple weeks from everything that's come out at this point, midday on Monday. Damn. Tyler Lockett. Here to steal the show, of course, for the next few weeks. Him and JSN. Brandon Ayuk, ACL, out for the season. It wasn't looking like a great season for him anyway. He had that one really big blow-up game, but now we're going to be turning our heads to first-round pick Ricky Pearsall and newly paid Juwan Jennings. Look at him. Not the biggest bucks, but he's there. AOC, quarterback for the Raiders. Broken thumb is what it's looking like. 4 to 6 weeks, he's headed IR. Gardner Minshew, firing back up. I mean, he does well enough. All we're really looking for here is Brock Bowers, so I think Minshew would do just fine. Daniel Jones, talk about a scary one. Not Daniel Jones, I'm sorry. Jaden Daniels. Let's talk about a scary incident out there. Got hit pretty good. Was checking out the ribs, pulling up the pads is what we saw. X-ray was negative. As of now, midday Monday, it looks like they say he should be fine. Anthony Richardson was fine, and they pulled him for a couple games because of that hip thing. So my guess is he's able to go out there and play. Whether or not he does this week, I think that's still up in the air. Then, of course, Juju had a hamstring going into this game. Officially pulled it. He's going to be out for a bit. I imagine we're going to see a little movement from the Chiefs. All right, everybody, we got to talk about Saquon's revenge game. I thought this was going to be a sneaky game for the Giants to pull a victory. Nope, not even close. 28-3 was the final. Eagles pulled off the win. Hurts threw the ball only 14 times. He was 10 for 14, 114 and a touchdown, 7 carries for 22 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Jalen Hurts ran 2. Saquon Barkley, though, 17 carries, 176 yards on 17 carries. Had himself a touchdown, caught 2 of his 3 targets for 11 yards. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell had 13 attempts as well. Will Shipley had 8 attempts. So, like, this was solely on the ground. They were just pounding the shit out of the Giants, and hey, they were able to do it. A.J. Brown saved his day, 5 for 5, 89 and a touchdown. Yeah, Devonta Smith, you were hurting if you played him. He was 1 for 2 for -2 yards. So, half PPR. He gave you point 0.3. That sucks. Tight end position, we expected that. Calcaterra had 1 for 5. It's going to be the two wide receivers, Saquon and Jalen Hurts. Just, I mean, this was prescriptive for him to get revenge on him. Next. All right, next one I want to talk about is the Bills and the Titans. It's a 34-10 game. Yeah, Titans coming out hard and fast. They took out to a 10-0 lead, and then the Bills followed with 34 points. Yeah, this was bad. Mason Rudolph, 25 for 40, 215 yards. He looked like the Mason Rudolph we saw for the Steelers. I was hoping for a little bit more action there. Not a whole lot. Pollard had 61 yards, about 2 of his 6 targets for 4 yards. The only bright side we have right now, Nick Westbrook-Akine continues to score touchdowns. Let's say continues. 2 of his 3 this year, and quite frankly, it's annoying if you have Hopkins or Ridley and you're forced to put one of them in. The bright spot, though, Josh Allen, 21 for 33. Let's hear it. 323 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 3 carries for a yard. Finally, we're getting some Josh Allen action through the air. Ray Davis, 5 for 41 and a touchdown. James Cook, 12 for 32 and a touchdown. Saved his day with that touchdown because Ray Davis is coming in there and he's looking good. He's carving himself a role. Ty Johnson stole a touchdown through the air. Mari Cooper, 4 for 5, 66 and a touchdown. Let's get it. Let's go. Looked awesome in the offense. Took like, oh, I'm so excited. Finally, we're getting some wide receiver movement, and it's looking good for the team. Keon Coleman, this was the real story. 4 for 7, 125 yards. Khalil Shakir was 7 for 7, 65 yards. Uh, Titans, they have a pretty good pass defense. That secondary's no, like, they can play. So is Cooper's presence on the field going to open up this much more for Coleman going forward? I really hope it does, because if we can get multiple passing pieces out of this offense, I love it. Dalton Kincaid again, 3 for 6, 52 yards. Very pedestrian, very not what you drafted him from. Like, this is bad. I was hoping Kincaid could kind of double up off of Cooper being there, but it looks like it might be Coleman, not Kincaid. What do you think, Brennan? Yeah, no. Alrighty, in this Chiefs Niners game, we talked about Brandon Ayuk out for the year with an ACL injury. Juju, we got so excited. A little bit of fab dump a couple weeks ago for him. Had that 100-yard game coming into the week, hamstring injury, and sure enough, he pulled it. He's going to be out for a little bit. Chiefs window's closing. They missed out. I mean, they weren't getting Adams, but they missed out on Amari Cooper, who I thought that was probably the best fit for them as far as financially and just team wise. We've got DeAndre Hopkins still out there. I think Christian Kirk is somebody the Jets should look to move just because, or not the Jets, the Jaguars should look to move just because of their situation. There's also rumors with a few other guys around the league. They need to do something because they're losing wide receivers faster than they can fill them. It's only a matter of time before somebody else pops up. We're not rooting for injuries, but it just looks bad. As far as the Niners go, they're not hurting. Ricky Pearsall, the first overall pick, he is going to be there to help fill in that role. Juwan Jennings, we've seen throughout the season that he's no scrub. He can fill in pretty well. And Debo missed this game, but it was an illness situation. We're kind of seeing that pop up a little bit more on the practice report as we get into these colder months. I'm sure it's going to be a regular thing. Lamar Jackson always misses his sick game, but outside of that, I just like Chiefs. Y'all aren't going to have anybody left by the time the Super Bowl runs around. So if y'all are planning on make it there, let's pick somebody up. Alrighty. All right, we had a clash in Green Bay. We had Stroud and Love going head to head. This was a 24-22 final by the Packers. Both teams now 5-2. They walk off field goal by the Packers. It was a great one. Brandon McManus came in there, plugged in for him, and took it. Tucker Kraft, we only saw 33 yards, but he got a touchdown today, helped save his day. Dontavian Wicks, I thought he was missing this game. He was injured. What happened? Came in 3 for 6, 48 yards, and a 3 for 6. Like, we're seeing that this guy isn't going to have a high catch percentage, but nonetheless, 3 for 6, 48, and a touchdown. Jaden Reed, 1 carry, didn't do anything with it. 2 for 4 through the air, only 10 yards. That was the huge mistake of the game. Just where was Jaden Reed? Romeo Dobbs, 8 for 10, 94 yards. And then Christian Watson, he gave you a point, -4 yards on the carry and then a 9-yard catch. If it's not a touchdown, it looks like he's not going to be helping you there. The real problem was the passing for the Texans. Tank Dell was 0 for 4. Diggs was 5 for 7, 23 yards. They were shut down. I mean, Stroud was 10 for 21, 86 yards. 86 yards on the day. He is not giving you a top finish, but Jordan Love sure did. 24-33. He had 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, but picks aren't the worst thing. It keeps the game moving a little bit. It gives the other team a chance to score. Joe Mixon and Josh Jacobs, here is where the excitement happens. Mixon had 25 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then 9 yards through the air on his 2 catches. And then Josh Jacobs, 12 carries, only 76 yards on that. Only. It's pretty good. 5 catches on his 5 targets for 16 yards. And drumroll, folks, yes, a touchdown. Josh Jacobs finally got his first career receiving touchdown. I know, the guy that absorbed targets galore while he was with the Raiders. That number 1 overall season he had, 3 seasons ago, all off receptions. I do want to point out Minnesota. They hard-fought battle. I really thought they were going to come back and win it. That pick 6 there at the end, but they ended up losing to the Lions, 29-31. Both teams now 5-1. Lions hold on to the division. Jahmyr Gibbs finally beat David Montgomery. That's been the funny thing, is Montgomery's won majority of the weeks. As far as fantasy-wise goes, Montgomery did come out of the game for a bit. Knee issue. He only had 9 carries, 31 yards, 39 yards through the air. Jahmyr Gibbs, though, 15 for 116, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches for 44 yards. Amon-Ra catching all 8 of his for 112 and a touchdown. Jefferson, 7 for 8, 81 and a touchdown. It continues to look great. My one issue with this game, I guess, on the Jets receiving end, Naylor, 5 targets, Addison, 4 targets. So, I mean, Addison's not the big play guy, obviously. It's Jefferson, but you're really hoping he can be that complimentary too. So if Naylor's going to be in there eating out of that, it might take flex consideration out of Addison each and every week. It might be more matchup dependent. All right, and the last few guys I want to talk about, it's the Week 7 stinkers. There were a lot more than we wanted to. Malik Neighbors finally coming back from his concussion. Not a great game. I mean, the Giants overall, not a great game. Him and Wandell were sitting at the bottom. Disappointed in both. Davante Adams, we talked about it. Not huge expectations, just first week with the team, coming off that hamstring injury, but still, I expected a little bit of magic, at least 1 touchdown in there just to kind of help propel his week a little bit higher. Deontay Johnson, I don't know what happened. That Carolina-Washington game was bad for all parties. It was not played the way that it was projected to. The pieces that went off weren't, like, Chuba Hubbard even was a disappointment, fell in the end zone to save his day. Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler. I mean, Robinson did decently well, but, like, you just wanted so much more out of that game. 2 bad run defenses, you really expected more. And then Deontay Johnson, the red rifle magic might be falling off. We might see why he's been a backup for the last half decade. I hope he can continue to see this target share. This offense can move a little bit, but there's going to be struggles for him. He's going to be kind of that flexing wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 range, I think, going forward. Hill and Waddle, hopefully this is the last week. Just got reports that Tua was back on the field and practicing. If you didn't buy low on Hill and Waddle, wave it goodbye, because those frustrated managers are ready to put them in their lineup. Stevenson, Singletary, I mentioned Eckler, Singletary. Tyrone Tracy looks like he's coming. He's coming to get a piece, as well as Ray Davis. Both those backups seem like they're going to be involved in this offense. And Stevenson, the Patriots looked so good in their first 2 drives. May was moving, he was slinging it, and then nothing. The Jags came in there and acted like they're a real professional team. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But, folks, we got to get out of here. Brennan, tell the folks goodbye, where they can find him. Yeah, he's at FFA and BMOLK. That's what he usually would say, but he's a little shy today, so we're going to give him a pass. But for me, I am at 200_Brian. You can find me on Twitter. Ask me anything you need there. Check out all the other stuff I'm working on. Got the weekly articles on QB List, football.pitcherlist.com, and, of course, all of my content here on the Fantasy Football Advice YouTube page. We're doing an episode every week, 5 days. Tomorrow we got the live stream. Come and check us out at 3:30 Eastern Time on the YouTube page here, Walking the Wire, when we'll go over all of your waiver wire stream stuff. But until then, we'll see you all later.